भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यः ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदायकर्तृभ्यः वंशर्षिभ्यः महद्भ्यः नमो गुरुभ्यः। क्या दूं? We read again the passage number 12 on page 24. स यथा सैन्धवखिल्यः उदके प्रास्तः उदकम् एव अनुविलीयेत न हस्य उद्ग्रहणाय स्यात् यतो इतस्त्वादतीत लवणम् एव एवं वा अरे इदं महद्भूतम् अनन्तम् अपारं विज्ञानघन एव एतेभ्यो भूतेभ्यः समुत्थाय तानि एव अनुविनश्यति न प्रेत्य संज्ञा अस्ति इत्यरे ब्रवीमीति होवाच याज्ञवल्क्यः। So यथा दृष्टान्त illustration सैन्धवखिल्यः उदके प्रास्तः, just as सैन्धवखिल्यः, a lump of salt, udake prastah, when it is dropped in water, udakam eva anuviliyeta, it dissolves along with the water. The idea is that even that lump of salt is nothing but water. The salt water has become the lump of salt because of association with heat and the soil, and therefore the basic content of that lump is nothing but water. That is the reason why when the lump of salt is dropped in water, the water becomes merged into the total water, and therefore there is no more lump left. Meaning that lump is nothing but the water which is solidified and therefore water meets the water, and there is no distinction there. So this is the illustration. As we were discussing yesterday, this lump is nothing but ocean water. The ocean water has acquired as though a state of lumpness on account of its association with soil and heat. So also this ocean of consciousness, prajnana ganaha, the consciousness, the self that the self is, or consciousness that there is nothing other than consciousness, has become as a lump like this one here. In this case, Maitreyi, or XYZ, you and I, each one of us is like a lump of consciousness. So, like a lump of salt, which is nothing but ocean water, which has gained the status of lumpness on account of its association with soil and heat. So, also the ocean of consciousness, the limitless consciousness, prajnana ghana, has also acquired the status of a jivatma and thinks himself to be a lump because of association with the karya karna sanghata association. Karya, the gross body, karna, the subtle body, sanghata, the assembly, because of the association with the assembly of the gross and subtle body, this upadhya or this individual equipment. This association is of the nature of identification. Otherwise, like we've been giving example of the space and the part, that in reality space enjoys a subtlety, pervasiveness, and part is a very dense thing. So they have no connection with each other, really speaking. The only way that the space can have a connection with the part is when the space gets identified and the space thinks that I am the part space. Although space does not have a mind, a human mind, therefore this may not happen. But imagine that space had human mind, in which case space would think that I am part space. Just by the thought or that notion, the space suffers from a sense of confinement, that I am confined to the part. Although space cannot be confined, there is no such entity as a part space because space cannot be confined to part. But the part manages to create a notion in our mind of a part space. The notion of part space is created in our mind because of part. So notion of individuality is created in us because of this body mind sense complex, which is comparable to a part. The consciousness comparable to space, even though consciousness has no association with this body mind sense complex, they are not connected in any way, but still the notion in consciousness that I am confined to this upadhi creates the sense of smallness, limitedness, bondage. Thus Vedanta explains that smallness or limitedness I experience about myself is not a reality about myself. It is a notion in my mind. Why is it so? Because for a wise man who has recognized that I am consciousness, he no more feels a sense of bondage or limitedness. The sense of bondage disappears in the wake of knowledge. Something that disappears was not there to begin with, otherwise, a thing that is real can never disappear. A bondage that is real can never go, but the bondage goes away because it was a notion to begin with. So the sense of lumpness that we have ourselves, the smallness, is not a reality about ourselves, it is a notion. and therefore it can go. In case of the lump of salt, you are dropping that lump in water. Here there is no dropping involved, but here the dropping of this lump in the ocean of consciousness is by way of knowledge. The knowledge, lumping is not an action. So this was an example, which example does not apply in all the aspects, but as though this lump of consciousness is dropped in the total consciousness, meaning that when this recognizes that I am consciousness, that lumpness was there. Here there is no lumpness. The lumpness is simply a notion, and therefore, by the knowledge that I am nothing but consciousness, the notion of lumpness goes, and I recognize my anantam, aparam, anantam, endless, aparam, boundless. I mean, there is no karya, no karanam. Nothing was born of consciousness, and nothing was conscious. Was not born of anything. Vijnana gana eva. All that you and I are nothing but the mass of consciousness. Ghana. So Vashyakara says Vijnana Ghana. Ghana means a dense consciousness, mass of consciousness. What is meant is that like ayo Ghana, like a mass or lump of iron, which is so solid that it does not admit of anything other than iron. So also the mass of consciousness, meaning it does not admit of anything other than consciousness, all that is consciousness. So on the page 25, in the line number 14, this question is asked here. Yadi idam ekam advaitam paramasa swacham, if in reality the self is ekam advaitam, one non-dual, what is meant by one non-dual is that all there is I. There is nothing other than I. But I find, Swami, so many things other than I. The I simply confined to this body-mind complexion and everything. Says no. In reality, I have given a dimension to I. In reality, I has no dimension. It is all inclusive. In reality, when I say I, if I choose knowledge of I or myself, then I would include everything. It's all inclusive. Because of identifying myself with the body, I have excluded myself and excluded everything else from I. Therefore, this question is asked. Yadi idam ekam advaitam paramata swacham. In reality, it is swacha, ever clean, ever pure. This self. Samsara dukkha asampraktam is never connected with, there is no samparka. There is no contact with any samsara, dukkha, sorrow of samsara. Just as the space cannot have contact with the parts, so also Atma cannot contact with any dukkha. If this is so, किन निमित्तोयम खिल्य भाव आत्मनः. If in reality what I am is pure consciousness, unconnected to any dukkha or sorrow, then why do I feel like this about myself? The problem in our life is what we feel about ourselves is quite contrary to what we truly are. What we truly are is we are limitless. One non-dual, that's the reality of ourselves. We feel that we are limited, we are separated from others. And limited means sorrow. We do not need any reason to be sorrowful other than feeling limited. I become sad whenever I find myself limited or helpless. When I cannot accomplish what I want, I cannot avoid what I do not want, I feel helpless, and thus the sorrow comes from a sense of limitedness. Where does this come from? The question is, किन निमित्तोयम खिल्यभाव आत्मनः? What's the reason why Atma feels like a lump, like a limited entity? Jatah, mritah, sukhi, dukhi. I was born, I'm going to die, I'm happy, I'm unhappy. Aham, mama, I, mine. Ityavadi lakshana. So this is called khilya bhava. This is called this experience of denseness, limitedness, uh, like a lump because I was born, I'm going to die, I'm happy, I'm unhappy. This is called a sense of limitedness. Aneka samsara dharmopadhrutaha, being harassed by all kinds of samsara dharma, man, woman, tall, short, successful, this, that. Why is it so? When in reality I am consciousness that is limitless, not limited by anything. I'm aware of the nature of ananda, happiness. Why do I feel a sense of limitedness? Why do I feel unhappy? As I said, what we feel about ourselves is quite contrary to what we really are. Why is it so? Uchyate. This Upanishad gives an answer. Vedanta is a simple answer. So it says, etebhya bhutebhya samuthaya. Because of the identification with this bhuta or with these five elements, the gross and subtle body, the individual upadhi, which is a product of the five elements, because of identification with this, the limitless consciousness feels very limited, feels insignificant, and never feels sorry. Therefore, when you drop this lump into water, what is meant by dropping this lump into water? Dropping this lump, the individual jiva, into the ocean of consciousness, what is meant by dropping? So you take this in, the guru takes this shishya and drops in the ocean of consciousness. There's no dropping involved in primary sense, meaning that there is no physical action. That was an example. What is meant by dropping is when you drop the lump of salt into water, it is like enabling the lump to recognize that water is my true nature. That dropping the lump into water was enabling the lump to recognize that water is my true nature. Similarly, also enabling this lump to recognize that consciousness is my true nature. That's how the guru, in fact, drops this ignorant person into the ocean of consciousness. But how do you say I am consciousness? I am limitless consciousness, because that I am. As you said yesterday, what is the reality? What is the non-deniable aspect of mind? What is the abiding aspect, unchanging aspect, undeniable aspect? This I am, I am, I am. To that we attach happy, unhappy, man, woman, and that I am becomes very limited. We don't attach anything to that. If I recognize myself simply as I am, I am has no dimension, understand? I am has no form, no name, no attributes, no properties. It is nirvikara, nirakara, nirvishesha. This I am, which is the consciousness, joins itself with this body, mind, sense complex, like the space joining itself with this part and thinking that I am part space. So also consciousness joins itself with this part. There is no real joining, but notional joining, and suffers from the notion that I am mortal. Jataha, mritaha, I was born, I am dying. Sukhi, dukhi, I am happy, unhappy. I am this person's son, I am this person's grandson, and this person's father. So what does the teacher do? Drops this lump into the ocean, meaning that animals the lump recognize that, hey, what is your true nature? True nature means what is the unchanging part of yourself. That's the way to meditate on ourselves. Who am I? What is the unchanging aspect of I that does not change in any circumstances? And that is I am, I am, I am, I am. The happy, unhappy, good, bad, man, woman, son, daughter, father, they all come and go on the platform of I am, I am, I am, I am. And thus, in all these changing notions about I, the unchanging, not notion, unchanging reality is I am, I am, I am, I am. Thus, we always experience ourselves as I am. Unfortunately, we also manage to join that I am with physical body and think that I'm a man or a woman. That I am joined that I am with mind and think that I'm sukhi dukhi. With ego, I'm successful, a failure, etc., etc. And thus, by joining, in this case, identifying, not joining, space, identify with part and thinks that I'm part space. So the self identifies, meaning that it is possible to give up that identity, recognizing it is identification, not a reality about me. So this is how the teacher makes us see. And these are notions about you, not reality, because had it been reality, it would never change. Yesterday we showed that the crystal now appears as yellow, then appears as red, then appears as green. So all these changing aspects cannot be reality of crystal, because reality is that it does not change. And therefore, in all this changing, what is crystal? The transparent, clean, pure entity is crystal. What happens is that because it is transparent, in words of Puja Swami, it's a sitting duck. Now, sitting duck for all kinds of superimpositions. Or, in fact, in the context, this was told us sitting duck, all kind of transference. You know what is transference? Transference means superimposition. Transference is a term in psychology. But sometimes I come across a person. This woman comes across another woman, as a friend, and they get, to know each other well. And slowly things start coming out of this person. Because this one sees a sister. Now, with sister, she grew up, had all kinds of experiences and all kinds of feelings. And in this one also, she sees that sister. And so all those feelings come out. No, I loved my sister. I love this. I hated my sister. I hate this sister. We don't have any reason. This is called transference. Transference is something similar to superimposition of Vedanta. And thus, so this is how the transference takes place, the identification takes place. So, sukhi dukhi, etc. Aham, mama. So what the teacher does is drops this lump into the consciousness by recognizing that, hey, the lumpness in you is not real. The content of lump, which is salt, is the reality of you, not the dimension of salt. The lump is a combination, a union of two things, the reality and unreality. The reality of lump is saltness. The dimension is only temporary, is only incidental. So we are a combination of the essential and incidental. Like this Bengal is a combination of essential and incidental. Essential, gold, incidental, name and form. Unfortunately, the essential comes always with incidental, and therefore we do not see the essential on its own. So we are required to separate the essential from the incidental. Here we know this is gold, Swamiji, because I know that the form is incidental. But that's how is everything, including myself. That I am a man, I am a woman, happy, unhappy is a combination of essential and incidental, in which the man, woman, happy, unhappy, son, daughter are all is incidental. The I am is the reality of myself. And that is how you drop that lump into the ocean of consciousness. I am is ocean of consciousness. I am a man is lump. So I am a human being is a lump of consciousness. I am is ocean of consciousness. Human being, that ocean becomes like a lump. What is meant by dropping this lump into the ocean is recognizing that this man, woman are all incidental. Let them go. Don't identify with them. Identify with the essential in you. I am, I am, I am, I am. That's the meditation upon the self. I am has no dimension, not confined to space, time. Even mosquito also is I am. I am the self of all. If I reduce, so this is a simple, this is called Tyaga or Vairagya. Then I must give up all my status. That I am a human being and this is a mosquito. Give up that status. Reduce yourself to a simple I am. No, Swamiji, I'm a rich man, I'm a wealthy person, I'm a so and so, and I've been taking satisfaction with all those things whole of my life. Not realizing that all those things are cause all my miseries in life also. What I thought was giving me an importance, in fact, that also is giving me a sense of limitedness. That's called Vairagya. Reduce yourself to I am. But Swami, I'm wealthy, I'm rich, I'm famous, I'm powerful, wealthy, rich, powerful. So this is where I take my satisfaction from. Says, no, that makes you a lump. I am becomes a lump by saying I'm wealthy, I'm rich, I'm powerful, I'm famous. Drop that. Just remain identified. I am, I am, I am. Then you're completely relieved. That's called Vairagya. Vedanta talks of Vairagya or renunciation. What is renunciation? Giving up, judging myself by all these extraneous factors. And identifying myself with what is essentially I am. I am, I am, I am. So Bhashyakara gives examples like this fatiga or this crystal, which appears to be orange because of the object such as a cloth placed beside that. When it's taken away from there, that crystal retains its original pure transparent state. What the sun reflected in the water appears as limited. Because water is limited in dimension, water is wavy, water is dirty, and therefore the reflection appears wavy, limited. But that's not, and the sun looks at the reflection. The sun looks at the reflection in the water. Oh, I'm wavy, I'm small, I'm dull. But dullness belongs to the water because there is dirt in there, impurity in there, so reflection looks dull. Sun says, I am dull. Reflections are many. Sun says, I am one among many. Reflection is small. I am small. Reflection is wavy. I am wavy, unsteady. The sun, looking at the reflection, makes all kinds of conclusions about himself. That I am dull, I am wavy, I am unhappy, I am unclean. So remove the reflecting medium. That's Vashyakara says, Yatha adya surya chandradi patibimbha यथा वा स्वच्छस्य स्फटिकस्य रक्तकारी उपाधिभ्यः रक्तादि भावः. How crystal appeared red because of the red lac that was placed beside it. How the sun appeared wavy or restless because of the water in which it was reflected. When those upadhis, media are removed, evam, similarly also the Atma being reflected in his body, mind, sense complex appears limited, restless, unhappy, divided. Remove this. But Swami, in case of reflection of sun, you can remove the water. What do you mean removal of this upadhi? The example is easier. You remove this cloth from here and then the sphatika looks, in its true nature. Remove the reflective medium, the sun looks fine. Remove this upadhi. What do I do by removing? Here removal means giving up the identification. Because just as the crystal and the flower placed beside it, there is no connection at all. So also Atma, in this upadhi, there is no connection. The only connection is by identification. I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect. That identification or notion establishes a connection which does not really exist. Samutthaya etebhyah bhutebhyah samutthaya, arising from these elements, 5 elements. What are the 5 elements? This body is 5 elements. The mind, this body, mind, sense complex, which is like reflecting medium, is 5 elements, and identification of this body, mind, sense complex creates a sense of limitedness. Khilya bhavaha, like I'm a lump, I'm limited, I'm confined. A sense of limitedness, confinement, is not because it is my nature, it is because I judge myself based on the reflecting medium. Like the sun, judging itself, looking at the reflection, says, hey, I'm dull, I'm restless, I'm weary. Similarly, we also judge ourselves based on the reflection in this upadhi. And so, like removing the reflecting medium, he also removing. But what is removing? He removing is not an action here. Removing is giving the identification. Samuttaya, samyak uttaya, very well rising from these 5 elements. Meaning that very well giving up the identification with this upadhi made of 5 elements. How does it do? So if you look at page 26, line number 4, Shastracharyopadeshena. So here it is not an action of lifting something or taking the color object away from crystal is an action. Illustration. In case of Atma, there is no action involved, but say Shastra Acharya Upadeshena. By the Upadesha, the teaching of the Shastra by Acharya in keeping with Shastra. Shastra Acharya Upadesha. Upadesha means the teaching by Acharya in keeping with Shastra. So Shastra Acharya Upadeshena Brahma Vidyaya. The Acharya says you are Brahman. This body, mind, sense complex is not inherent in you, is not essential in you, it is something incidental to you. Like the sun being told that this manyness or reflection is incidental to you. The dullness is incidental to you. The waviness is incidental to you. You are one non-dual, self-shining, brilliant entity. So we are told that, hey, this notion that I'm a man or woman is incidental because you are judging yourself based on body. I'm happy and unhappy because you are judging yourself based on mind. I'm great, I'm miserable, all judging yourself based on ego. How constantly we keep on judging ourselves, looking at some mirror and judge ourselves. Mirror of body, I say I'm a man or woman. Mirror of mind, I say I'm happy and unhappy. Mirror of ego, I say I'm successful, I'm not successful. I keep on looking at different mirrors and judging myself and then entertaining so many complexes. And every complex is a source of unhappiness. No, Swami, I'm successful. It makes me happy. It makes me happy, but it's just nothing but the potential of all unhappiness. If something else can make me happy, something else can make me unhappy also. That's only when you find out happiness is my nature, then you are independent. I'm happy because of this event. I'm happy because of this person. I'm happy because of this object. The happiness can be taken away from you. I'm happy because of myself, which is what you are. Shastra Acharya Upadeshena. I tell my teacher, I feel miserable, Swamiji. I'm restless, Swamiji. You are silence. I'm restless. You are silence. I'm restless. You're all silence, Gets more and more excited. Swamiji, if you said that once more, there'll be two restless persons now. All right, how do you say you're restless? I know I'm restless. How do you know you're restless? I know. I see my mind. My mind is restless. Okay. Your mind is restless. You are the knower of the restless mind. You are different from your mind. Otherwise, you would not know it. I cannot objectify myself. Whatever I can objectify has to be different from me. And restlessness, I objectify, I see, I cannot be restless. This is how the teacher makes me understand how I'm entertaining so many notions without having ever thought about them. Shastracharya Upadeshena Brahma Vidya. In that the teacher says your essential nature is only I am, I am, I am, I am, which is Asti, Bhati, Priyam, Sat, Chit, Ananda. Nadi Samudravat Pravilapitani. Then what happens is like the rivers merge into ocean, so also this lump merges into ocean of water, ocean of consciousness. Meaning what? Becomes free from identification with this upadhi. Teshu vinatsasu. That's how when this upadhi, since vinatsasu dies, doesn't die or doesn't get destroyed, the identification is given up. In keeping with that, the kilya bhava, the sense of lumpness, sense of individual, the moment the identification with upadhi goes away, the sense of smallness also goes away. How you will create a distance? That's what the teachers teach us. Create a distance where it is. There is a distance which somehow we have erased. When person says I am restless, then he has erased the distance between restless mind and himself. Then he was made to see, how do you say you're restless? I know I am, but how do you know? How do you say, I see my restless mind? So there is a distance between the restless mind and I as subject. But we erase that distance and say, I'm restless. So teachers makes us see, look, even in your very statement, also the distance. Recognize that I am is different from everything else. Various ways of teaching us. Upanishad teaches us in every Upanishad teaches in a different way. Here, the method employed is the one of the khilya bhavaha, the sense of lumpness, which is because of identification, give it up. Yatha udaka alaktakadi hetu apanaye. Like the udak means water, when that is removed, then the reflection goes away. The reflection of sun goes away, that of moon goes away. Or alakta means the lac, which is red color, placed beside the crystal, crystal looks red. When you remove that alakta, the crystal attains its original state because it never became red. That is easy, Swami. You give illustration, make it look so easy. Oh, they keep on telling you the pot, this pot is nothing but clay. I understand, Swami. From that, you want to say that you are Brahman. No, that's a big deal. Vedantins always give us these simple examples. And from that, make a very profound statement. Like that, you are Brahman. Just as you remove this limiting adjunct, such as a lac, from the crystal, crystal attains this original pure state. So remove this body, mind, sense complex. You attain your original. What do you mean remove? You can't create physical distance. What is meant by removal? Here, removal means give up identification. The distance is there. I am separate from this body or mind, and there's no connection between the two. Just as no connection between the part and space, so also no connection between I and this upadhi, body, mind, sense complex. I have established that connection and become kilya, become like a lump. Not that I become lump, I feel like a lump. The feeling goes away when the identification is given up. In that case, the water has actually become lump. Here, we have not become lump. We feel we are lump because of this identification. So, as the identification goes, teshu anueva visheshatma khilyaha vinashyati. As the identification is given up, the sense of kilya, sense of lumpness, smallness, individuality goes away. यथा उदक अलक्तादि हेतु अपनये सूर्य चंद्र स्फटिकादि प्रतिबिंबो विनश्यति. Just as the crystal remove the alakta, all that lack, crystal gains its true nature. Sun was reflected in water. Remove that water, the sun and moon attain that original nature or recognize the original nature. So also give up the identification, the upadhi. Then you recognize prajnana ganam, anantam, aparam, swacham vivatisthate. Already I am prajnana gana. I am ananta, I am apara. But entertain the notion of smallness because of identification. You give up that identification. How do I give up Swamiji? How do I give up identification of the body? Recognize, see the distance that exists between you and the body. So Swami used to tell us in meditation now, you know, recognize that the neighbor's body is not you. You are different from the neighbor's body. You can visualize and the objectify the body of the neighbor. That I can do. Similarly, you can objectify your body. Not very different. And the subject is always different from the object. You are aware of your emotions in the mind. You are aware of the thoughts in the intellect. Just pay attention to that. You habitually identify and judge. Just pay attention, then you are able to de-identify. So thus recognizing or giving up that identification, which is habitual. Identification is habitual. So a new habit has to be created. Prajnanaganam, Anantam, Aparam, Swacham, Vivatishtade. What remains is Prajnanaganam. One ocean of consciousness, Swacham, ever pure, Anantam, endless, Aparam, boundless, Avatishtade. That's where we recognize ourselves to be. Then Sage Yajnavalkya makes an interesting statement. Na pretya sanya asti. If you see the passage number 12 on page 24, the third line, last verse, na pretya sanya asti. Na pretya sanya asti. Pretya means after death. Preta, generally use the word preta for departed soul. So pra plus e means to depart. Pretya means departing from his body. Sanya means consciousness. So his words mean that there is no consciousness after departing from this body. Na pretya sanyasti. There is no more sanya, no more consciousness after pretya, after you have departed from this body. It is not departing from this body. It is becoming free from identification. But when you go identity with the body, then there is no sanya. I am no more Maitreyi, I am no more Yajnavalkya, I am not so and so. This notion that I am a Swami comes from my judging myself in this body. Pretya, departing with this body. Meaning that becoming free from the identification of the body. Then no more do I have the notion that I am so and so. So, hey Maitreyi, when you recognize your true nature as Prajnana Ghanam, Anandam, Aparam, you are consciousness, limitless, boundless. You no more identified as this body. That was said to be departing from this body. So Sage Yajnavalkya used the expression, having departed from this body, there is no more consciousness. What was meant is, having become free from identification of the body, there is no more consciousness, meaning no more notion that I am a Swami, so and so. But Maitreyi took it literally. Na pretya, after dying, sanya, the consciousness is not there. Meaning that after becoming wise, there is no consciousness. Na pretya sanyasti. Having departed from this body, given up, become free from identification, no sanyasti, no consciousness is there. Maitreyi was, Are Bravimi, hey Maitreyi, that is my upadesha to you. Maitreyi was really concerned. You mean having gained the knowledge of the Atma, I lose consciousness? Na pretya sanyasti. Pretya, having departed from his body, no sanya, there is no awareness at all, no consciousness. So what happens to me? Do I become unconscious? Literally translated, it means that you will have no consciousness at all. That means, sir, When I gain enlightenment, when I gain the knowledge, I will lose consciousness. Iti hovache, that's what I'm saying. Maitreyi. Of course, this is the Upanishadic teaching, and therefore everything has to be interpreted. And the reason why certain expressions are used because they're effective in communicating something. If you open the page number 26 and line number 8, na pretya sanya asti. Pretya, having departed from this body. So says karya karana sangatebhya vimuktasya. One who has become liberated from this karya karana sangata, from this gross and subtle body, from this upadhi. Iti are brahmimi Maitreyi, that nasti vishesha sanya, there is no more particular consciousness that I am Maitreyi. I am asau, I am so and so, amushya putra hai, I am the son of so and so, mama idam kshetram, this is my field, mama idam dham, this is my wealth, oh, sukhi, I am sukhi, happy, I am unhappy, all of this will go away. Once you know your true nature, no more I am son or I am daughter, I am man or woman, I am rich or poor, I am so and so, all of this will go away. Why will it go? Avidya krutatva tasyaha, because all these notions are born of ignorance, and in the wake of the dispelling of ignorance, all these notions, sangha notions will also go away. Avidyayasya brahma vidyaya niranveta nashitatvat. Just as the darkness is totally dispelled by light, so also ignorance is totally dispelled by knowledge. Niranvayataha, when light comes, no portion of darkness remains, nothing remains remaining also. Knowledge comes, all ignorance goes away. Kutaha Vishesh Sanya Sambhava Brahmavidaha. How can a knower of Brahman have any kind of particular notion about himself or herself? Chaitanya Avasthitasya, because now he abides in his true nature. There is Chaitanya, the consciousness. Sri Avasthitasya. To us looks like that he is in the body. The wise person will look like he is in the body, functioning through the body. That's what would look like to us. As far as wise person is concerned, he or she is only abiding that I am consciousness. Karya karana vibhuktasya, the wise person is completely separate, completely free from the limitations of this body, mind, sense complex. Itiha uvacha uktavan kila yajnavalkya. This is what says Yajnavalkya told Maitreyi. That there will be no sanya, no consciousness, having departed from this body, having gained the Brahma Vidya, no consciousness. Now, this was that scared Maitreyi. And so Maitreyi asked the question in this next passage. We'll continue with that. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. हरिः ॐ. श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ॐ.